A quick recap of the tiebreak action between Nakamura and Aronian in Grand Prix 2022 Berlin. Hikaru is white here and is trying to press in the endgame. And here he tried f4. Now, why not try something like rook c5? Because that king and pawn endgame is actually a draw. So the play would go, let's say, c6. And here, if you do the race with the pawns, it's a very long variation. And eventually, this is a drawn queen endgame. So here, instead of going into rook c5, Hikaru tried f4. And here, Aronian just had to wait here on the 5th rank and he would secure the draw. But instead, he tried another variation and he tried to simplify by playing h4. Now this is still a draw, but black has to be accurate in a defense. And here was the key moment, and what Aronian has to do is stay on the 3rd rank by rook g3 or rook h3. Let me demonstrate. If the king comes here, then you do check, and you keep giving check from the side. But in this key moment, Aronian was low on time, and he retreated the rook. And now, white has 2 passed pawns like that, versus 1 going this way. And this is a winning rook endgame. As the game continued, and here there was an easy win for Hikaru. You just do rook, king c5, and you push the pawns. But instead, Hikaru played these moves, and here he tried to advance the b pawn and play rook b8. That was a mistake. The right idea is to put the rook on the f file, and then play king c5, push the pawns, and eventually sack the rook against the pawn. Let me demonstrate. And here, black would like to play rook f4 with a bridge. You take, and c6. And these 2 pawns are too strong versus the rook. So that was a winning plan. Instead, rook b8 played. And here, black had a critical moment, and king g4 was a losing mistake. Instead, king e5 was good, because if you play b6, you have f2, and if you try to defend, now black defends, and the king will come here, and it will be a non-drawn endgame. But instead, the king is going too far away from the pawns here, and eventually, we reach the final position, and here Aronian flagged, but the rook here is cutting off the king, and then you can simply push and win. Very complex rook endgame, but in this position, rook d5 was an easy draw. So great technique by Hikaru, and let's go to the next game, which was very interesting as well. And this was a key position, and Hikaru is black now. And here, Aronian had a key decision to make. He went with rook f4. That was a losing mistake. He had to go king e7, attacking d6. Why is it a mistake? Well, rook h6, attacking the king this way. The king moves up. Now, rook b7, attacking the king this way. The king moves up. And here, brilliant move, rook h8. And king g7 is a threat, and you have a checkmate on the king on d8. So here there was no difference. If you do, let's say, rook g3, you have checkmate. If you do rook e3, you do check. And here you win the rook by a skewer. This is classic technique. And if the king tries to escape, rook g7, and then king h7 is checkmate. So in this position, the brilliant move, rook h8, won the game. Thank you very much.